Welcome back. You're watching the ET Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. Now, in this age of social media and smartphones, there's an influencer for almost everything under the sun. And in the last couple of years, we have seen the rise of new breed of influencers, which is Finfluencers, or social media influencers who promise to give you expert financial advice and investment tips like a pro. But how reliable are these so-called influencers, and can you trust them with your hard-earned money on the line? Perhaps it is time that you identify the right influencer. Let's bring on board Sharan Hegde, finance content creator, Finance with Sharan, and PV Subramaniam, CEO, www.subramani.com, to talk on this topic forward. Welcome both of you. So PV sir, first question to you. Not that this is a new issue going around, but then a lot of scam stories and a lot of fake promises stories are floating around the internet where all these celeb traders promise you high returns and good returns within one night. And not that SEBI is not working on it. Obviously, SEBI has raised this issue time and again, not to trust unregistered advisors. But then these are really catching up. What do you have to say about these unsolicited advice that's floating around social media? And how can one identify the red flags when we talk about unregistered advisors and these celeb traders?
Thing has always been happening. Earlier, people used to write postcards, they would distribute pamphlets, they would put ads, or they would do something. So this is one new method which is being done. So same, if you think that these are advertisements, then bring the advertisement standards council of India, get them to monitor it. But whenever there is greed and lack of financial education, this combination will always work. So you go and tell somebody you will get 20% per year or even 10% per month or things like that. As long as people fall for such greedy things, very little that the regulator can do, right? So people will do it in some form or the other. So you have to use your old tools like Advertising Standard Council and norms that influencers or celebrities cannot talk about some products. Some of those rules will have to be brought in. That's what they'll have to do.
Influencers, these people are young and they are smart and they are too trendy, and they talk about financial planning, they give financial tips, they promise you high yielding stocks. Is this the same story as it is for the unregistered advisors? Sharan?
Trying to control the advisors,
Sharan?
then there is...
Sharan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is that question directed towards me?
Yes.
All right. So I think the definition of financial advice from the purview of the regulator has to first be defined, because finfluencers have all been bucketed into one category. Now, in today's world, there are, I would say, 95% of finfluencers who are there on, at least on Instagram, which is the platform that I began with, are not in the business or not in the area of recommending stock tips, or not in the business of telling people I'll manage your money for you and then charging a fee for that. Very few content creators or influencers do that. It's a very small bucket of influencers. That's one thing. Second thing is, recently SEBI came out with this guidelines on how you exactly define a celebrity. Now, until now, celebrities were confined to the movie industry, but a new clause has been added where any content creator who has more than 1 million followers on any social media platform will also come under the category of celebrity. Wherein they'll also be governed by the same guidelines which celebrities are subjected to, which is that they cannot promote any stocks or mutual funds at a scheme level, but they are allowed to talk about it from an industry level. But that was a 2017 communication from SEBI. Now it remains to be seen what is the new guidelines for celebrities that SEBI comes out with.
Talking about influencers as celebrities, PV sir, how do you read this? Are they really celebrities? Don't you think we need a stricter guideline, draft guideline coming in for influencers? We are talking about people's hard-earned money. Do you think it's the same thing?
Difficult to say. If I have 1 million subscribers and I say I have subscribed to XYZ mutual fund, it may be the truth, right? So am I trying to influence or am I trying to say some factual thing? So, I mean, right from television anchors to journalists to financial influencers, so difficult to define, first of all. Second, does it mean that person has to invest in that product? What happens if that person doesn't even understand the product but just writes about it? It's very difficult, and especially suppose I'm a health influencer. Suppose I'm an influencer on diet, and I say I've invested in XYZ mutual fund. Do I come within the ambit? So first of all, defining what is financial advice. Does it include taxation advice? Does it include forex advice? So defining, because that does not come under the purview of SEBI. So is it a product? If it has to come under the purview of SEBI, it can't be insurance, right? So will IRDA also come out? Will RBI come out with its own guidelines? We will have to see all that. So first defining what is financial advice, like what Sharan said, then defining what are the products which are covered. Is financial planning part of financial advice? Is tax planning covered? What is covered, what is not covered? Is doing an interview, is it trying to influence? Is it carrying a logo saying, oh, I invest in XYZ mutual fund, and am I being compensated for doing that? All these questions will have to be defined. And one more thing, they shouldn't get too ambitious trying to say we will do everything in one app. So wherever you can use,
All right.
some other acts,
Got it.
advisors have their own guidelines, AMFI has its own guidelines,
Got
then
it.
advertisers have their guidelines, marketing guidelines, who is a celebrity, all those things
So
have to
we
be in
need a lot
separate
of clarity
places.
on that line. But then, Sharan, for investors and for people who follow influencers, what are the red flags that they should keep in mind? Quickly.
So what I think is to judge a influencer on whether they're saying the correct stuff or not. See, certification, I would say, doesn't really help that much. See, anybody can have a certification, but still might be motivated or swayed by attractive deals or money and say the wrong thing. So what I would say to the audience out here is to look at two things. One is the level of research that influencer has gone through. Now, if it's a YouTube video, it's easy to judge by the video. But if it's an Instagram video, please read the caption, which is the text which goes below the video, because in 60 seconds, a influencer might not be able to convey the entire point, and there might be room for misinterpretation. So please read the caption. I usually write 300 to 400 words in that caption. That's number one. Number two is please read the comment section and see how the influencer is answering some of the difficult questions which are posed, because that will show the level of research which has gone into by that influencer when posting that piece of content.
Exactly. And also check if they are SEBI registered, if in case they are giving you recommendations. Thank you so much, Sharan and PV sir, for being on the show and helping our viewers understand who is the real influencer or financial advisor. With that, we slip into a short break.